Greetings and salutations, loyal viewers of this channel. My name is Sean, and today I want to tell you about this story out of Massachusetts, where a wealthy white woman has decided to live up to her values and open up her doors to a migrant family. They're allegedly from Haiti, and the news segment about them is quite interesting, a little bit weird, but we gotta get into it and we gotta talk about it because I think people are missing a couple of key points that I think need to be addressed from somebody on the right side of the political spectrum. But before we get into that, thank you to everyone who signed up over on actualjusticewarrior.com/join.
Give me the money. Give me the money. Okay?
And thank you to the podcast listeners, Spotify, Apple, and Google's podcasting platform.
A migrant family from Haiti is sharing their experience. They're searching for shelter in the Boston area and then recently found a host home in Brookline. And now they're looking for jobs.
So like I said in the open, the basic premise of this particular video is that you have a family that came in from Haiti, although some people have pointed out that they're speaking Spanish, and that is kind of odd and weird because in Haiti they don't speak Spanish, in Dominican Republic they do, but maybe they picked up the language because they were in close proximity. Who knows? Not me, but really that's not the point of this story, and they've been taken in by a wealthy white savior that a lot of people have labeled this woman as, and now they're kind of living and working in the home, which is interesting. It creates a weird visual dynamic that we'll get into a little bit later, but they document their whole journey, and I think it's interesting for me to put that out there for you guys so you can see what these people actually go through when they come to the United States of America.
It's been an emotional few weeks for Wildande Joseph and her husband. First, sleeping on the floor at Logan Airport, then in Children's Hospital with their 2-year-old daughter who got very sick.
Me siento mal.
Es muy difícil este tiempo.
She felt bad, as any mother would.
So yeah, at one point in time, they were actually sleeping at Logan International Airport, which, by the way, the idea that we let people who migrate to our country legally or illegally sleep at the airport is absurd and ridiculous. Their 2-year-old had an issue, so they were at the Children's Hospital over there, and that is also something, that's tragic. Remember, these are people. I believe that our immigration laws definitely need to be significantly overhauled, but that doesn't mean that I can't be sympathetic to somebody who had a sick kid recently or was sleeping at the airport.
Now things are looking much brighter as they've been welcomed into Lisa Hillenbrand's Brookline apartment.
But now they ended up at the home of this wealthy Massachusetts woman, and this is where the story gets a little bit dodgy, but you're gonna be maybe a little bit surprised by my take on this whole situation.
Tu niña es muy alegre ahora.
Sí, muy alegre. Cuando se levanta en la mañana, se dice, "Ay, Lisa."
Oh. She says her daughter is very happy. When she wakes up in the morning, she says, "Hi, Lisa," and everyone starts the day smiling.
Now, one of the things that she says is that when her daughter wakes up every morning, she says, "Hi, Lisa." That's the woman that let them into their home. The woman that if she called the police on a criminal, the left wing would be labeling a Karen and trying to get her fired from her job and all of that. And they feel very happy now that they're inside an actual home rather than sleeping at the airport and their child's out of the hospital. And again, we can all understand this perspective from these people who are quite fortunate to be hosted in a wealthy American's home. Now, by the way, this is completely voluntary. This is not something that was forced upon them. I know a lot of people are worried that that is the next step once these cities run out of money, but this is voluntary, and the woman seems quite happy to have them and quite happy to virtue signal about her adopting this black family.
It's a delight, and it's really fun having them. What I realized is there's so much prejudice against refugees, mostly because people don't know them.
Gosh, isn't she so virtuous? It turns out the reason people are so prejudiced against these migrants is because they don't know them. If only they did know them, then guess what? That prejudice would melt away because they're all kind-hearted, good, well-mannered, great people, fantastic in every possible way. But the thing is, we've actually seen a lot of these migrants and how they act in the United States of America. These people that are committing asylum fraud, which by the way might not necessarily be true of this Haitian family. Let me just leave that out there. And a lot of them commit crimes. They're not happy to be here. They act entitled to resources. They in fact demand more resources. And a lot of times it gets ridiculous and absurd in every possible way. However, the piece of this news segment that's drawing the most attention is this one right here, where this wealthy white woman says that that she feels like she has her own personal chef now, and I want to play that for you because this is where things get a little bit too funny for me to not point it out.
Lisa says she feels like she has her own personal chef, as Wildande loves cooking.
Listen. My conclusion to this whole story might actually surprise you. My final take, my final thoughts, my final opinion might actually blow you guys away out there in the audience, but this is just too funny for me to not comment on. This wealthy white woman feels like she has her own personal chef and her own personal cleaners, and she's getting this cleaning and getting this personal chefing in exchange for providing room and board to a black family. I think we had something like that in the United States of America a very, very long time ago, and this is just kind of hilarious that basically we have an instance where it looks like, at least optically, that the woke have gone so woke they've actually reinstituted slavery. I mean, it's gonna get really awkward when she asks the husband to go out into the garden and start picking cotton, but right now, I'm just saying, it's getting a little sketch, it's getting a little questionable, it's getting a little awkward if I'm just being perfectly honest. Now, I happen to think that there is actually nothing wrong with somebody who's staying at your home, somebody who is a guest, providing services to you for being a guest, but the implication of this, for somebody who's trying so hard to virtue signal, for somebody who's trying so hard to fight against prejudice, is just too funny for me to not acknowledge. That being said, I want to play a little bit more so you could hear about the hopes and dreams of these particular migrants or refugees or asylum seekers. They're not really clear in this particular segment, but yeah, I'll play it.
¿Te gusta la ocupación?
Sí.
In fact, her goal is to open up her own restaurant.
Quiero tener mi propio restaurante.
The couple has their work permits and they've been taking English classes.
Yo cualquier trabajo para hacer, para guardar mi dinero, para hacer mi futuro.
They're open to work anywhere to save money for their future.
So this family actually already has their work authorization. They are currently looking for work, and they say they're willing to work anywhere in order to provide a living for their family. And honestly, this is where I'm going to come down with my final judgment, which is I'm actually perfectly fine with this.
In the meantime, they're enjoying their time with Lisa, their new friend for life, and their daughter's new grandmother.
Se abuela mi niña. Sí.
Now, don't get me wrong, if you are a friend of mine, if you are a family member of mine, or if you were just a random stranger who happened to ask me for advice and you wanted to know whether I thought it was a good idea for you to adopt a random family that may be refugees, may be legitimate asylum seekers, may be economic migrants, or maybe people who are committing immigration fraud right at this very moment, I would tell you no. Don't do it. It's not sensible, it's not logical, and all of that. That being said, you have somebody right here who actually has a stated belief, a stated value system, and she is living up to her values. How many times have celebrities with mega mansions talked about how we have to move all these migrants in, and then when people suggested that they host them in their own homes, they then balked at the suggestion. On top of that, this is the old school immigration system in the United States of America. Sure, you can come here, but you're not going to be taken care of by our welfare system. You are not going to be provided to you by the state. It is on you to make it on your own or to find somebody willing to host you in our country so that you can pursue your dreams. That's what's happening right here. And while I do still believe and maintain that we need an overhaul to our immigration system, I think part of that overhaul should be going back to basics, which basically says when you come here, you're on your own. You're not entitled to welfare. You're not entitled to all these benefits. You have to make it on your own or go back to your home country. And if you want to be put up on somebody else's dime, it's not going to be on the taxpayer's dime forever. You need to find yourself a host family. They can put you up. You can work with them. And if you can't find that, guess what? This might not be the best country for you. This particular family ended up finding that. This particular family appears to be extremely grateful and extremely interested in working on their own. And if they happen to make a close connection with this woman, I think that's all to the good. Now, she talks about in the end of the segment how, all the people in her community center or wherever have decided that they want to host migrant families as well. And I know that just based on the numbers, eventually this is going to backfire dramatically. Eventually, you're going to have guests that are not going to be as kind as these people appear to be. They're not going to be as grateful as these people appear to be. And when that happens, based on this positive news story, I will feel bad for the people who try to live up to their values and then ended up being confronted by the cold, hard reality. But in this particular instance, I got to give credit where credit is due.
They are hardworking. They want to learn. They want to be successful. And I feel great helping, and I get to understand the refugee crisis from the inside.
This lady may come off as a kooky weirdo. Her awkward description may sound like the woke reinstituting of slavery. But the thing is, she put her money where her mouth is. She actually stood up and tried to live up to her values. And with so many other people in our country not doing so, with so many other people in our country, the professional activist class, the professional journalism class, saying that they want these illegals to run roughshod over our nation, they should be taking public resources from citizens, from our own homeless, I find this to be a welcome relief, if I'm being perfectly honest. And genuinely, I hope it works out for every single family that decides that they're going to let these people into their homes. I hope there's no crime or anything like that. But as of right now, I don't think that's going to be the case, because when you're barely screening people, you get the results that you expect when you don't screen out criminality. But that being said, this woman is good in my book. She did nothing wrong. She's actually a decent person, and I actually think we should give her credit for that, because she, bare minimum, unburdened the taxpayers with these people, and maximum, she's living up to her values and what she advocates for, and I think that is commendable, even if I probably disagree with her 98% on immigration policy. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you like this video, then show them by leaving a like, subscribe for more content, follow me on my social medias, support me via the support links in the description of this video. This has been me talking about a woman actually letting a family stay in her home. Till next time.